Okay, who taught you to do that? I'm talking to the women of the village. Whether you're from African cultural descent or East Indian cultural descent, you know when you go to sit down, you have to do like this if you want. Who taught you? So today we're going to talk about learning without being taught. In village life and yard life, there are things we learn without being taught. You know that if you're playing around the big people and you got a ball, you know when to stop, and they don't speak. They give you the look. And you know that means you better stop that. If you go out with as a family, they don't like you embarrass them. They give you the talk. When you go out there, behave yourself. And the minute you start to act up, they give you the look. And you learn. For the big people listening, do you give your children that look too? How did you master that look? We learn without being taught overtly. I was thinking of all the ways and the things we learn without actually being taught. Oh, who taught you to suck your teeth? Who teach you that? I don't know when is the first time I suck my teeth, but it had to be when I get teeth. Because gum don't do it. Suck teeth. Some people just call it chups in. Trinidadians call it chups in. I don't know what the Bajans call it or what the Jamaicans call it. Some people say she kissed her teeth on me. Well, me don't know about that. Me know we call suck teeth. You ever hear a market woman suck teeth on somebody? Hey, like they haul the teeth from all the way back here. Who taught us these things? The elders didn't sit down and say, okay, now step 1, step 2, step 3. No. That's for school. That's not village culture. It's not yard culture. You know, just learn it. We learn by watching, observing, carefully, and modeling behavior. Some of these behaviors were not appropriate, but others were very, very inventive, to say the least. And some of these behaviors and ways of doing came down through cultural continuity from our African descent or East Indian descent or Chinese or whatever. Because, you know, Guyana has 6 different ethnicities. So we're like a potpourri of things. So there's all of that. Who taught you kotai? How you know as a young girl, if a boy make yourself too front, forward, you give you this. Who taught you kotai? I don't know myself, but I must have observed it and learned to kotai. Learn by observing women cooking in the yard. You know, when they have to squat at the pipe, they got to take the dress hem and tuck it like this. We learn from women when they have to get their dress out the mud. They have to tuck it in at the hips, at the panty line. You got to take it and tuck it up so. We learn that behavior. We learn by just observing women when they're cooking and talking. Like today, we're making pigeon pea soup. My friend from Trinidad, she said they have that in their place. I don't know Guyanese make that, but that's a Trinidadian thing. And I'm watching her spinning the dumplings, and we're not using any measurements. Those are things we learn from women and from the men in our families without being taught, because we didn't use a measuring spoon, a measuring cup, nothing. We just eyeball it and heft it. And for the children in the diaspora, hefting means you put it in your hand and you kind of wait like this. And you eyeball it is when you take the cup and you're like, and you pour. You take the spoon and you like pour. And then you take a little bit of the sauce and you dunk it here, you lick. That's how we do it. And we learn the consequences of behavior when we hear certain proverbs. They don't have to tell us what it means sometimes, and they come to mind when we're behaving a certain way. So you might see two children playing, and you say, this is going to end up in crying, because they say, laugh there, cry there. And you learn to gauge people's behavior based on more than the smile. So everyone that's smiling with you or laughing with you is not your friend. Because they say, all skin teeth, na laugh. All skin teeth, na laugh. That not everybody who bare their teeth, good morning, that they're okay with you. Understand that people can be fake. And so, all skin teeth, na laugh. You learn that thing you keep doing all the time, and they're telling you, don't do that, don't do that, but you don't want to stop. And they say, bucket to go well. Every day, one day, bottom go left. So you keep doing this thing every time, and one day, you're going to reap the consequences of your behavior. Sometimes you learn the application of these proverbs, because education is best had in its application. So let me share a little story. Many years ago, I decided to volunteer in the South Pacific. That's why I ended up in Asia. And I was teaching some children in a place called Palau. Beautiful place. I say it's God's country, one of the most beautiful places on earth. And after I'd finished this 1 year stint, I returned to New York, because I went through New York to go. I returned to New York, and I went by my sister's house. And for the first time, I would spend a month there. But I had cousins in Brooklyn, and I wanted to go see them. So I kept bugging my sister, let's go, let's go. But she doesn't want to go, because she was working. So one day, she got fed up with me, and she said, okay, catch the train, and you're going to go down from upstate, and you're going to go down to Brooklyn. And she told me everywhere I have to go. And so when I had to go to the subway, it was a marvel to me. I'm like, okay, we're going to go underground. I heard about the underground, but didn't mean anything to me. So I saw these tunnels and whatever be underground. And when I came out, it was shocking. I don't remember where I came out, but it's as if I came out of a hole in the ground. And I came up, and there was Brooklyn in all its splendor. And the accents of Caribbean people hit me. Remember, I had not heard another West Indian, Caribbean, Guyanese for an entire year. So the accent just came and hit me, and I was in seventh heaven. I smiled from ear to ear. Well, I didn't know where I was going. So I saw a woman selling agabati and incense and perfume. You know, Auric? Perfume. She's selling agabati and perfume. So she looked friendly. She had a broom, and she was sitting there, you know. So I said, excuse me, could you tell me where I could find whatever street? Because I didn't know where I was going. I asked her. And guess what she said? Let me tell you, people, I laughed and laughed and laughed and hold my belly and laugh. Tears come down my eyes, because I had not seen that in forever. She said, and I learned that the Africans do that too. They point with their mouth. Who taught her? And who taught me? There were no words given from that lady, but I knew where she was telling me to go over there. So I took off over there, and I had a really good laugh. You know, I had been away from our culture for a while. So when I got back into it, it was a delight to my soul, even what she didn't say. So I'm going to ask you, what did you learn that you weren't taught overtly? What did you learn? And what have those experiences done for you? Talk the thing. Yawa good.
Sunday soup is page of peace. Battling the obstacles by itself. kind of dumpling you get in there? This is the cornmeal dumpling. And you have this cornmeal and this is the regular dumpling. This is the flour dumpling and cornmeal dumpling. Trini style. Nevertheless, it's on the soup.
Finished soup. Bon appetit to me. Where my plate, girl? I, I'm gonna be eating this soup in this enamel plate. Yeah, don't jealous me. Oh, you gonna put some in there? Oh, mama. Oh, my mama. The proper Sunday soup. Me no want. All right, good, good, good. Me want them dumpling though. But I put soup. I put soup. Yes, sorry, Bob. Good. That's for starters. All right. The purple sweet potato on top and dasheen. Because we cook it separately because the pot too small. Look, this here is separate. We're going to put it on top. This is, man, this is heavy food. You're not supposed to sleep after this. Hearts could chase you. Ram, goat and chase you. Everything will chase you.
Food go ride you.
Yes, your food gonna ride you. And you get bad dreams. This week, we just completed our 9th week of the listening archives. What we learned without being taught. Nobody sat us down to teach us these things. Remember, we watched, we listened. In the yard, in the kitchen, on the road. A look, a short saying, a correction. Nobody said, this is the lesson. But somehow we understood. The lesson was not always explained, but it stayed. And we're still learning. Yeah. So, gotta finish my soup.